Hi and welcome. For those of you joining me live, welcome and thank you for coming along to watch the Trusted Influencer TV. This is my weekly show where we talk about things that will help you as a business owner, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, develop your ability to influence, enhance your communication skills, develop your confidence so ultimately you can increase your ability to sell more and earn more. So let's get into it. What are we talking about today? Today, we are talking about the 6 reasons why people won't buy into whatever it is, your ideas, your products, your services, whatever it is you're selling. 6 reasons why they won't buy from you, and more importantly, how you can overcome them. Now, before we do that, this is a live show, so it's designed to be interactive. That means that if you have questions, drop them into the comments box and we will take selected questions during the course of the session and we will put them onto the screen similar to that there, where I just put my name up. If you want your questions seen on the screen, then if you are joining me live, drop your question into the comments box and we will try and get them up so that we can answer your questions. So this is designed to be a wholly interactive show. It's not meant for me to be out just blurting out plenty of useful information for you. I want to be here and I want to answer your questions and help you. So if you're watching live, drop them in. Now, if you happen to be watching this show after the live broadcast is finished, don't worry. You too can get your questions answered again. Drop your questions in there and I will be monitoring the comments and the chat box, and I will answer any questions that come up after the broadcast. Now, if there are people that you know would benefit from this, so in other words, business owners, entrepreneurs, business leaders that are looking to increase their ability to influence and share their ideas and ultimately sell more, then I'd love for you to just share this broadcast with them so that they become aware of it, so that they can tap into this weekly show where we talk about all things influence, all things communication, and subjects and topics that will help you or them develop their ability to influence and share their ideas and get better results. So let's kick into it. Again, if you are live, again, please feel free to drop your comments into the box below. So let's move into it. The first reason, and we talk about 6 reasons this morning, 6 reasons why people won't buy from you. The first one, let's be honest, it's money. Your clients are not going to buy from you. People aren't going to invest into your products, your services, your ideas if they don't have the money. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do to resolve this. And firstly, you need to accept that there are going to be clients that aren't going to have the cash. That doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how great your product, your service is, they're not going to have the money to invest in your product, your service, your idea. And that's fine. You need to accept that and move on from. Don't waste your time with those kinds of clients. If I go into a Porsche dealership, I don't have the cash at the moment to go and buy a Porsche. The salesperson there, if they've got their wits about them, is going to recognize and find ways very quickly to identify that I don't have the money. And so they shouldn't waste too much time talking to me in a Porsche dealership. I'm there basically just to go and have a look and ogle the cars. I'm not a serious buyer. For you, when you're pitching your products, your ideas, you need to make sure that you are talking to clients that actually have the capability to buy and invest into your products, your services, whatever it is you're offering. If they don't have that capability, there's only 2 things that are going to happen. Your time is going to be wasted and your clients, your potential clients' time is going to be wasted. They will get frustrated, potentially, but you will definitely get frustrated. So you need to identify first up, are you reaching and talking to a client and talking to a market that actually has the money to invest into your products and services? Now, if that market does have the capability, then you have the opportunity to actually make a sale. But people are still somewhat reticent to purchase, even if they do have the money. So you need to think about and help them find creative ways. They might look purely at their bank balance, what's on their credit card, and say, do I have the space available today, or the available funds in my bank account? Do I have the space on my credit card to actually go off and purchase? If they don't, They might still have the money, might still be coming in. Then a whole myriad of reasons. You need to think and find creative ways that you can help your clients get the money. So don't just think of this as a pure, simple transaction, like the service, and then they give you X dollars. That's very much a binary transaction. There are creative ways that you can structure a deal. It may be that you provide half a service now and half a bit later, and they pay accordingly. Think about how you can create a win-win situation that wins for you and wins for your client. One of the perfect examples are scenarios where you may be dealing with a large corporate client. You might be talking with a manager there who has the authority to go off and purchase or sign off on expenses up to, say, $10,000. If you provide them a purchase order of $12,000, they're not going to be able to sign off. They've got to justify it to their next level up, their superior. However, they might be able to say, okay, well, look, we can do this over 2 invoices and create two $6,000 invoices. They can sign off both of those, first one this month, second one next month maybe, and ultimately you get your $12,000 deal. They get the product service from you that they were looking to invest in, but you've just created it in a very much a win-win way that allows them to move ahead with the deal, allows you to get the product or service, and ultimately enables them to develop and grow into whatever it is you're offering. So really think creatively about how you can structure your deals to help people find the money. Don't just think straight binary transaction. The second reason people won't buy is ultimately they're insecure. And when people are insecure, if they can be insecure for a number of reasons. Firstly, they might be, and predominantly, they're going to have a lack of faith in you as an individual. Doesn't matter what product, service, and what brand you represent. Ultimately, people are buying from you as an individual first up. So you need to make sure that you have their trust. So you've got to work hard and really develop and build that rapport and trust so that they see you as that trusted expert. And that's part of, again, what I talk about and work a lot with clients on as part of my work in the Trusted Influencer Inner Circle. It's about helping my clients develop that trust factor. So there's a number of different ways you can do that. It could be that they've seen you present ideas at and pitch ideas at an event. They've seen you speaking. They've read your materials, your thoughts on articles and blogs that you've written. Ultimately, you've built a relationship with them over a period of time. Sometimes that can be quick. Sometimes that development of trust and rapport can take a little bit longer. But ultimately, you need to be building that trust factor with them. So that eliminates the insecurity factors. Because like I said, that's the primary driver. They are going to be insecure if they don't know you and don't trust you. But then that insecurity can also move into your product, your service, your deal. So you need to make sure that all of this wraps together in a way that they feel comfortable. If you can't show them and make them feel comfortable that this is or better, they're not going to buy. So you've really got to look at how you are first up building rapport yourself and how your products and services are pitched to them to show them that that you have that way of that you can, develop that trust factor with them. So make sure that you present your ideas and pitch ideas to show them you understand their pain points, you understand them, and that you can solve their particular challenges so that you remove that level of insecurity and then show them that the deal is structured in a way which is beneficial and will help them. This is why things like guarantees come into play, because it helps eliminate that insecurity factor. So don't discount this. This is still relevant. A guarantee alone will not get you over a barrier of insecurity. There's a whole range of factors that come together on this. Make sure you can develop insecurity. Third reason is indecision. Some people just cannot make a decision, and you've got to accept that. So what can you do about this? Ultimately, you can't force people to make a decision. If you try and force them and strong arm them, you are going to end up with a client, if they do invest, they're going to regret that purchase and find ways to get out of it very, very quickly. Or more likely, they're going to run away from it. People are resistant to high pressure tactics these days. There is enough evidence and there's enough mechanisms and alternatives out there that people will go, well, you know what? If you try and push me and pressure me, I will go elsewhere. And I'm a prime example of that. I was helping my mother purchase a TV a couple of months ago. We went into 2 stores. The first store gave us a great price, but just to validate it and just check that we were getting what we believed was a good price, we went to a second store. The second store had on the front of its door, on the big bold letters as you walked in there, it had the fact that if you had a better price, they would beat it by, and they would beat that price. So we walked in there and said, this is the price. They had it in stock, so they had everything lined up there to say, yes, they could actually sell us a TV at a cheaper price. But the salesman tried to sit there and put a strong arm tactic on us to say, you need to take this deal right here, right now. Otherwise, I'm not going to give it to you. In other words, he was saying, you could come back later today and you're going to pay the full price or pay a different price. We weren't going to deal with that strong arm tactics. We actually went back around to the other store where we paid a couple of dollars more to get the TV from the first shop. Reason being, primarily the salesman in the second store tried to strong arm us and tried to make us feel that we had to buy there and then. First store were quite open and transparent, and so we went there and ultimately rewarded them. So you can't force people to make a decision, but as someone trying to sell your products, your services, you've got to really make a choice. You can work with people because part of the reason that they've got some concerns is generally back down to trust and rapport. So think about that insecurity factor. It's a lot of reasons why people become indecisive. However, some are naturally indecisive people and they will never make a decision. So you're left with a choice. This is, to put it bluntly, you can't force people to make a decision. You've got to choose at this point here to say, is this worth investing time on this particular client, this person, to keep talking to them to get them over the line? Because eventually most people will make a decision. It's a matter of whether or not they will do it in your time frames. So really think long and hard about saying, what do you want to do? Is this deal worth your time, effort, and investment of that to get it over the line, or is it worth moving on? And sometimes you've just got to move on. You can't keep chasing after a client who isn't going to buy. So accept it, move on, and go find a more profitable client. If the deal is big enough and you think that they will eventually make that decision, then obviously you keep in contact with them, keep supplying them the information, working with them until you get to that decision. But really, you've got to make that choice to say, will they make a choice and make a decision, or will they not? And then you've got to move on. You can't waste time with one client forever chasing one deal. Procrastination is a really big issue. We all procrastinate for different things. So again, if you've got questions, if you've got anything you want covered off as we go through this, feel free to drop them into the comments box below. Don't procrastinate on your questions. Oh, don't you just love it when you can tie them in nicely? So procrastination is really, it's a challenge because like we all procrastinate. We all get comfortable in our current world. It might not be perfect. We know there are issues, but it's a world that we know. And so we procrastinate in doing things which are going to change that. Even if it on it. I mean, how many of us have procrastinated going to the gym when we know that we should do? We've got the membership, but we procrastinate because, we're comfortable with the way things are. So you need to make things easy for your clients. You can't, what I mean by this is you need to have a level of easiness for the purchase. In other words, don't make it too hard for people to buy and use your products and services. You've got to be sitting there doing things such as reminding them of the world that they're in today, the problems that are associated with that, and then remind them and show them again, which you should have done through your sales pitch and through your closing, is to show them how their world can be better when they take up your product, your service, whatever it is you want them to invest in. So you've got to be reminding them of that so that they feel the pain and see the new world. Now, this is really comes down to where you've got to really work on this and make sure that you know, first up, their current pain points, their current world, where they're aspiring, where they want to be, or where they want to move from, so that you can then show them the benefits of the new selling that you should have done a lot of work on. So you need to think about this from a procrastination point of view to say, okay, how can you make this easy? It could be that you're going to have contracts to sign. Don't make them unnecessarily onerous and difficult. This is where you, as the salesperson, as the business owner, needs to say, how can I make it easy enough for me to for my clients to do business with me? Really work that one through. So make sure that you remove all those obstacles to minimize the opportunities for procrastination points. So make it simple, make it smooth, make it easy. A favorite of mine is this: never actually asking the client to purchase. If you don't ask them to purchase, guess what? You've got to be the leader in this process. As you guide your clients through showing them their pain points and how you understand their world, you've built rapport with them, you showed them what the benefits of using your product and services. You get to that point and you think it's obvious that it's the only choice that they can make is to just go, yes, here's my credit card, I will sign up and purchase your product and service. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. You have got to ask your clients to say, do you want to take up this offer? Do you want to purchase? Do you want to, become a coaching client? Do you want to buy my widget? Put an order form in front of them and ask them, do you want to sign? It has to be high pressure. It does strong arm tactics, but you need to just ask a very basic, where do you want to go? Do you want to proceed? And out there puts the ball into their court. At that point there, you have presented them all the information. You've shown them logically that your product, your service is the right way to go. You need to then put the pressure on them. And when I say pressure, I mean it's impetus. As a leader of this conversation, you need to sit and say, I have done all that I can. It's now up to you. And ask them to make a decision. If you don't, they're not going to buy. So really take the time and really ask that question and do it confidently. Remember, you're the leader of this conversation. You're the leader of this process. You've guided them through. This final point here is where you say, I have done all that I can. I've shown you all the information. There's nothing more for me to do, show you, or tell you about. It's now up to you. That's it. You've got to ask them the question of, where do you want to head next? Some will buy, some won't. So what? You move on. But make sure you ask them that all-important question of, where do you want to head next? We're going to cover off here in this show is fear. People have a fear of actually purchasing. And this is really all of the previous four or five, wrapped up into one. So you need to make sure that you work through all of these, because if you haven't covered off all of the other issues, from insecurity through to money, through to procrastination, through to never asking them to buy, all of them together, if you don't deal with all of those, people will default to a position of fear. So make sure that you cover all of them off, because people have a natural tendency to fear change. Make sure that you make this smooth, easy, and exciting as possible, so there is less reason for them to fear. So there are the points. So let's quickly go back through them. So first up, people won't buy because of issues and concerns around money. They won't buy because they're a level of insecurity, and that's really down to a lack of trust in you and your company. You need to work hard to overcome that. Some people are indecisive. You've got to work through that and say, is this person worth pursuing? Is it going to be, am I flogging a dead horse, or have I actually got a chance of making a sale here in a reasonable time frame that's not costing me dollars because I'm missing other opportunities? Really think hard about that. Some people will procrastinate, and to get over that, you've got to make it easy for them to purchase. Make your process of buying and selling really easily. Ultimately, ask them to buy. Make sure that you've actually asked the question. Don't be someone who never asks the question of, where do you want to go next? And finally, help them overcome their fear, which is all of the other 5 reasons wrapped up together. So thank you for taking the time to watch this show. Again, any comments, drop them in below and we will answer them, and I will answer them after the show. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch it. I'll be back next week with the 3rd episode of the Trusted Influencer Show. Look forward to you joining me live then, and we will wrap up this broadcast right here, right now.